Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to this edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. As tradition on Prime Hour requires, we're going to be talking relationship and marriage issues today again. Today is Tuesday, so we promised last week that we're going to do the part B of this wife side chick struggles, how to manage cases, but we also promised that we're going to look at the men and side guy tussle, how to handle cases, because apparently wives are now championing this cheating issue. They have side guys, but we always hear of side chicks. So how does it happen? What is pushing our wives to be looking for side guys and possibly looking at how to handle cases when they arise? We are with our regular panelists who are in the house. Apostle Alfred Essingie is in the house with us. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Thank you, Reverend Kenneth, who is here today. And I want to greet all our friends who have been greeting us, because I went to Limbe and nearly the whole town was just greeting and greeting and greeting and greeting. So I want to greet you back. I want to tell you that we're doing a great job to make sure that you are fine at the end of the day.
Okay. We're also in the company of Reverend Tatoh, Kenneth. He is a regular panelist on this program. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, my utmost pleasure, Mr. Leo. Good evening to you. Good evening to Apostle Essingie. And good evening to our viewers. We are so grateful by the grace of God as we started last week on this issue of side chick and how to manage. We are going to move from where we ended last week, and we pray that our viewers should stay glued to their screens and invite others so that together we can share these ideas for the sake of healthy marriages and relationships in our society. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are also going to have a lady join us on this platform. Petula Bih is going to be joining us in the course of the program. Is called In Traffic. He just wrote to me that he's on his way. But also from Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital, we're going to be having the regular contributions from Miss Asanji Yvette, who is also the mother to the prime baby out there in Bamenda. We're going to have pictures, sounds, and pictures from the born house. That is how we call it as Africans. It took place out there in Bamenda. Unfortunately, we were not privileged to be there. But you who are regular viewers of this Tuesday editions of Prime are going to join us to see how it went down in Bamenda with Mrs. and Mr. Asanji Yvette out there. Now, we are looking at the side chick issue. We're concluding this. What are the consequences of playing the side chick game? That is a side chick. What do you benefit as a side chick, and how does it also affect the man as husband?
Yes, actually, that is a very strong thing that people don't understand. And as we begin to talk like this, a lot of people are going to come to the understanding. Human beings are spiritual beings. They are not just only physical beings, they are spiritual beings. And their interactions either link them together in the realm of the spirit or can separate them totally. We only believe in what we call blood pact, but we have not seen other parts, other situations of the body and liquids of the body that are more dangerous. The spittle, the sperm, and many others. They carry a lot of spiritual implication. But this is a situation where a man has to, for one day or maybe for 1 month, you have to go through the spittle of so many other women, so many spittle, and then maybe sperm. Some of you will know how to do those gymnastics and try to see how to prove that you're more romantic than the others. You find yourself bounding with somebody that you cannot be loosed. Mr. Leo, many of these men really want to separate. They started it, and at one point in time they did not like it. But now, how do they come out from it is very difficult. Because you will hear them tell you today that they are not involved in it again, they will not be there again. And before you want to discover, they are there by the next week. Before you want to discover, they are sleeping over at the woman's place. What is the reason? That's what we call soul tie. Soul tie. Many have not taken time to study about soul tie. When you sleep with a woman or you sleep with a man, you get this thing they call soul tie after some time, because there is this passionate feeling that goes on between both of you. That passionate feeling, some of you know how to, maybe when you're making love to a woman or to a man, you talk to them and try to make so many promises. You see so many wonderful things you say. All those things bind you people in the realm of the spirit. As you go on making promises and saying all those wonderful things you're saying, it is only approved in the realm of the spirit, because whatever word you use has a spiritual implication. Say, by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. After you make such promises to a woman, you make such promises to a man, and then tomorrow you find yourself that nothing is working well with you because you break promises and you break, all those things you said. A lot of people are suffering in their marriages today because of all those things. Those bad spittle, those sperms, those promises they made during sex and so on and so forth only went a long way to bind their spirits together. That no matter how they separate, in the realm of the spirit, they are still there. You will be with your wife on the bed. You are thinking about another woman. Especially if you've slept with more than how many women, you just see they'll be coming to your mind like a picture. And sometimes you can never be satisfied until you carry your mind backward and begin to think about all those affairs you have had. That is when it gives you satisfaction, because in the reality, the person that is there cannot give you the satisfaction. So it turns your family life around. It makes your family life useless. It makes your home, no matter how much you try to love your wife, you cannot go along. No matter how you try to love your husband, you can't go along, because there is a bond in the spirit. You are bound with about 10, 15, 20 different women, 10, 15, 20 different men, and some women are proud to say they have slept with 100 men. And let me tell you, that is why life cannot work well for you. That is why things cannot work well for you, because many of those people that you went to, they carry deadly spirits. Some of them carry deadly curses. Some of them carry deadly things. And when you have sex or kisses and all those things with them, you only attract those things. Your own go into him, and then his own goes into you. And you people are now born in the spirit. So no matter what you do, you try to go back to your husband, you try to go back to your wife, it can't work, because something is wrong. Something is wrong. It's not ordinary. Sex is not ordinary. A lot of people think that sex is just some fun or some having some 1 minute thing and one other thing. Sex is a spiritual union. It's a spiritual union. As you go, Bible says if you sleep with a prostitute, you become one with a prostitute. If you sleep with a prostitute, you become one with a prostitute. So you sleep with 100 prostitutes, you become one with 100 prostitutes with different spirits and different backgrounds. And that's why you see, things cannot go. You start a project, it can't work. You try to make things to work in your home, it's not going. You try to make love to flow in your home, it's not going. Because of what? These spirits are after you. These spirits are after you. They have come to ruin your life. They have come to ruin your destiny. They have come to ruin your family. And before you discover, your children are also attracted in that kind of thing. Because of what? It is not their making. It is just that the intercourse you had with your wife, you had already had different spirits in you. So as you transfer those spirits, even the children you put in your wife's womb will start behaving the same like those things you used to do. And you'll be wondering what is happening. Yes, because it's a transference of spirit. Transference of spirit can be transferred even to children. That is the truth. If we can transfer genetics, we can transfer blood, we can transfer character and behavior into people. What about spiritual implications? We can transfer it to children. So that is why I'm saying that we should be careful how we go about these things, because they are not just for fun. They have some implications that are very dangerous.
Okay.
You can only see them later in your family.
Good evening, sir, and all the panelists in the studio. Let's be honest, Mr. Leo, with the rate at which young men are dying, tell me, if we are to eliminate side chick, can you imagine the number of women who will be starved all through their entire life? And Quine Luis is writing from Santa. It brings me to the question I had for you. Is it not also because of this doctrine of monogamy, where a man is expected to marry just a single lady, and so many of them are out there who would also need to be satisfied sexually? How do they meet up with that? Is that not also pushing many women to wanting to be attended to by men, and by so doing they find themselves running after the husbands of other ladies?
Well, Mr. Leo, the issue is that no one can ever have satisfaction for all of their needs in life.
Okay.
Yes, there are people who will just go with some of their needs in life unattended to. This aspect of thinking that some people will want to appoint themselves or elect themselves as side chicks because they are not being, their sexual needs are not being attended to, is a very subjective argument.
Okay.
Yeah, what am I talking about? You see, I usually ask that when you stay and you don't have food, do you go and steal food and eat because you don't have the food? No. There is supposed to be a legality within which every aspect of society functions. If we want to even talk about the ratio of men is to women, even at that, not all men are married who desire to marry. So it's not an issue of wanting to, look at some kind of an excuse, an alibi to present for the issue of side chicks. The issue is that the thing is destructive to society. There are some things that at times you may think you want to fix one problem, but you are creating 3 more by thinking that you want to be a side chick and satisfy your sexual desires in the short run, while destroying somebody's home, while, wreaking havoc on somebody's family because you are a side chick. Some of them are so possessive. Some of these side chicks are so possessive. When they get into the picture, they want to harvest the man for themselves. They don't want the man to pay attention to his family any longer. So with that, a woman will be somewhere crying because her husband is no longer at home with her. Her husband is no longer, providing for the home, for the family as he used to do before, because some madam is somewhere with perfumes and all the other kind of things and has possessed this man and derailed him or pulled his attention away from home. So what we are saying in essence is this: when something is wrong, let's call it wrong. I've just seen somebody written on the forum already that, in fact, that even we who are talking in the studio, we do it. Well, everybody's conscience to himself. The issue is that if you are looking for somebody to do something in order to validate the fact that you are not alone in the thing, you are actually on your own. You are actually not doing what you are supposed to do in order to be delivered from it. The issue is there are some facts, you have to face them. We have heard people say, or several, we too have said that the African man is, or men are by default polygamous in nature. But does it warrant or does it justify the fact that somebody should go about sleeping around with having side chicks? It doesn't. So Apostle Alfred has said something very important, that there are some people who get engaged in this thing and they have challenges withdrawing, they have challenges moving away from them. This should be what we are supposed to be looking at. It's not supposed to be a time for us looking for excuses to present for engaging in marital infidelity. There is this thing I had. A lady spoke with me sometime a few years ago, and this is what happened to her. I want us to look at the context where somebody is engaged in something maybe out of ignorance. Now, this man was married, was a family man, a father of 4, was married and was living with the wife and kids. Came and met this lady and played the impostor, told the lady that he is not married. And they started discussing marital, they started making marital arrangements. And the man, over time, impregnated the lady, and they were doing some business together. Impregnated the lady gave birth, and they were doing business together, functioning together. So in the course of time, one lady who is a friend to this man's wife got in contact with the lady, and in the course of discussing with the lady told her she never knew this man was a married man. So the lady now went and told the man's wife that this lady you are actually indicting she's actually ignorant. So the lady now sought for audience and met the lady and told her, if you can, go to a church so that they can pray for you, because what I have done to you, I have cooked you in all forms of pots. Go for prayers so that you can be, the things that I have done on you can be undone. So you can be excusing such a person that she was doing something ignorantly, though she is not totally ignorant. She's not totally free from it, because she did not follow the marital procedure as the way it's supposed to be followed. So we are saying here that for us to be in a society the way we are, and looking at the repercussions, the negative repercussions of this issue of keeping side chicks, and we still want to look at it as if it's a light thing, and we want to look for excuses to give and say that some people use men of God as their standard. Men of God are not supposed to be your standard. If they are doing something wrong, you mustn't do something. You mustn't do that thing.
Okay, let's get the first
reaction
of Ms. Asanji Yvette from Bomenda on this part 2 of this topic.
Hello, Mr. Leo. Greetings to you, greetings to my co-panelists, and greetings to our televiewers. Special greetings to the buy and selling women in the food market, the meat vendors, in fact, everybody watching from the Northwest region. Mr. Leo, side chick and wife tussle is it has actually become more of a cold war. Sometimes some mature side chicks know their lane, and so they stay on their lane. But we have some side chicks that they don't respect their limits. You know, they go as far as giving the wife at home a lot of trouble. So even from the last program we had, you could see how most women were bitter due to their experience they've had with side chicks. So I had to bring out a message, a series of quotes, which I sent out to side chicks, and I titled it A Message to a Side Chick. And I'm just going to read them here so that if any side chick is watching us, they will understand some key things. Okay, so a message to side chicks, that's how I titled it. And the first point I wrote is, you might be good in bed gymnastic, but don't think you are better than his wife, cause you are still an option, not his priority. Okay, you're still an option. After every sex, after everything, he's going to go back home to his wife. And second point, if he tells you his wife is bad, stop believing it. He is using that to gain your sympathy and have more sex. Stop being fooled. Every husband will tell you, obviously, the wife is bad. Okay? Then the third point, never think you can win him over into marrying you. You can't be the reason why another woman is crying and you expect to build a peaceful home. Okay? Take note of that, side chicks. The fourth point, if you succeed in snatching him from his wife, another woman will snatch him from you. God pays people in their coins. We call it karma. All right. The fifth point, never think you can cook better than his wife. You cook just for two of you, while the wife cooks for the entire family. You can't manage what she manages to prepare food for the entire family, so hold your peace. The sixth point, stop comparing your physical looks to that of his wife. That your precious body will also wear out if you put to bed the number of children she has put to bed. So zip your mouth. The seventh point, don't even dare think you are respectful than his wife. If you were his wife and learned that he is cheating, you will actually become completely disrespectful. Okay? The eighth point, before concluding that you can make a better wife, wait until you wear the shoes the wife is wearing at home. Then you will obviously understand. The ninth point, stop using money to hold and keep him. You are only proving how frustrated and desperate you are. Keep your money for yourself. Okay? The 10th point, never expect him to be sincere, honest, and truthful to you, because he is not even doing that. He's not even doing all of that to his wife. You are the reason why he lies and lives a double life. 11th point, he respects his wife more than he respects you. Should I tell you why? He can pick his wife's call in front of you, but he can never dare pick your calls in front of his wife. His wife remains the respected one. Okay, the 12th point, like seriously, how long will you continue this hide and seek game with someone who is legally married to a woman everyone knows? Respect yourself and move on. The 13th point, stop turning 90% on bed to a man who is going to finish and go back to his wife. Start turning your business and your life into a 90-degree success. It's wisdom. The 14th point, you can't be keeping somebody's husband and at the same time expecting God to give you your own husband. That's impossibility of the highest order. And the last point here to side chicks, as I titled it, a real woman will never break another woman's home. we shouldn't fight each other, we should fight for each other. We are all women and no man should put us at loggerheads. Okay? So that's the message I titled to side chicks, or I titled it a message to side chicks. And I think a lot of side chicks have read and, you know, reasoned out with them, while some had to defend themselves and say, no, men are polygamous, so they are okay being side chicks and stuff. So I'll be coming back to throw more light on this.
Mr. Asanji, thank you. We've just been joined by Ms. Petula Bih. Yes, I announced that she was caught in traffic. She's here with us. So much talk about side chicks. And now, you are living with the girls. You hear, you hold lots of seminars with them, workshops, and certainly you hear what. Is it the fact that there are just so many women, or more women out there, or the fact that the men are not well taken care of by their wives, that this phenomenon is growing by the day?
Good evening, televiewers. Good evening to these great minds. I am privileged to sit with you people on this panel, discussing what actually concerns directly the girl child. To me, it is none of those. It's not as if the women don't take care of their husbands. It's not as if the women are more than the men. To me, it's low self-esteem, it's inferiority complex, it is entitlement mentality, it is self-denial. The girl child generally has been brought up in our society to think that she is supposed to be given everything. If you look at the way the girl child is being brought up, I mean, from childhood, even the way we treat them when they are still babies, you know, the questions you ask the boy child, the girl child, is that how you're going to take care of your husband tomorrow? Is that how you'll be washing his dress? Is that how you cook the food? But to the boy child, usually, most fathers usually say, you're the one in charge of this property, so you should check the, let's say, the boundaries, you should check everything, you should check how the properties are and give me reports. So from childhood, we train up the boy child to become either an administrator or a hustler. And the girl child, we train the girl child to become a dependent being. So from that background, most girls grow up assuming the position of the dependent one, the one that's supposed to be provided everything. That is why immediately the parents are not there to provide. They have to hang on to somebody else. It's either a boy. I watched the program when the young girl that was the hair, she was seated here with a hair shift, and I was really sorry for her, because for her to keep saying that the boy was taking care of her, the boy has been taking care of her like no other. Within 2 months of relationship, the boy has been taking care of her. I was wondering what this boy has been taking care of just for 2 months, and she could even lose her life and was still saying that I don't even know the type of love. Maybe theirs is different from mine. But to be honest with you, when a girl child grows up with that entitlement mentality, it is very difficult to change it. And that's the error we are making. So it's not as the girls are out there that are desperate. They are always looking for somebody to hang on, and the men have understood that. They have understood, and they'll keep telling you that they are more than this, they are more than that. Have you counted? Have you counted your area? You see that it's because there are more women that man wants to help all of you. From time memorial, we know that men have had concubines, because I think the synonym, another word for side chick is a concubine. So we have only more. Side chick. What kind of nonsense is that? What about your future? So I think that girls really live in self-denial, because during creation, God actually gave potential to everybody. There was no difference that you that is a girl, you should end up in the house. You that is a boy, you should end up hustling. There's no difference with what God has put in you as a talent. You can develop it. But when you choose not to identify who you are, the real personality in you, and you choose to live in self-denial, you think that you can always depend on people to do things for you, you begin to disgrace parents, and you call yourself side chicks, until some are saying men side chicks or whatever. You must not depend on the man, because the only thing that is dragging you towards somebody's husband is the fact that the person can give you money. How comes a girl that is 16 years, 20 years will be sleeping with a man that is 50 years, 60 years, and the child? If you listen to that discussion, Mr. Leo, you'll be so ashamed. Sometimes when I'm passing by and they are standing and discussing, I listen. Sometimes even when I'm in a training, I just listen. When maybe during break, you think that I talk about the training. Listen to what they are saying. A young girl at 17 years still in high school is saying that she's a true norm. qui peut, même s'il est marié, s'il peut louer mon appartement, il met tout, ça me dérange pas, and she's 17, what gods? You know, when they start like that, it means they have given up on life. So the issue is, the girls are having low self-esteem. They don't believe that they can make it. They are devaluing themselves. That's why the men can use them anyhow. So when you do not value yourself, do not expect the society to value you. Do not expect the men to value you because you are a woman. No. So you need to, first of all, appreciate yourself as a human being. You identify the real you in you. You start working on yourself. And then the society, and then the men will respect you. By the way, being somebody's side chick is not something that they force you into. It's a calculated act. So the man starts running after you, and you think that it's because he starts telling you some funny things. You think that he has never told the wife before, he has never told anybody. And then you keep on, tomorrow you find yourself.
These girls are desperate, but the men are the ones who chat them up.
Yes, the men
what is pushing the men?
The men are the ones who chat them up. But when men decide to be boys, okay?
It's difficult. If 100 men were to talk to you, it would be difficult. They are very convincing, eh?
Mr. Leo, if they ask them to drink poison, they will take poison and drink.
Do you know something, Mr. Leo? There are differences between men and boys. It's not the age. There are 60-year-old boys and there are 25-year-old men. So when you see a man, a fully grown man, and he comes and sometimes you come and park a car in front of a 60-year-old child, you think that that's a man, that's a boy. Mentally, he has not grown. So we are talking about men, we're not talking about boys. So when those boys run around like that, you hear those sort of silly statements from them that there are many more women than men. So what? So in the animal kingdom, when they live like that, you come and live like that. It means you're taking down yourself as low as an animal, and you're not ashamed of it. So the thing is working on our mindset. Are we having, is a mindset, somebody who is responsible will not do that, and not because the women have become fewer. Okay. In our neighborhood, we know men who don't do that. Okay. We know. But the number of women have not reduced.
Okay.
I want to say that in addition to what Madam said, there is an issue here. It's not even just about the men being irresponsible. The women should also, because there are also men who are being enticed by women. So this issue has to do with people working on their mindsets.
It's mindsets.
Work on your mindset, have your system of values, build your principles. You cannot be crying a victim all the time that you are into this because somebody did this. That is, for me, that is irresponsibility altogether. Let somebody build his or her set of values so that if somebody approaches for something which does not tie with your values, you reject it and you move forward in life.
To add to that, it is sometimes I usually compare when a student is still in high school, for example, you are determined to pass the advanced level, like they are writing exams now. There's no distraction, you know. You have chosen to drop every other thing in order to pass that exam. Like he's saying, you need to build values and principles. And those things are supposed to be updated all the time. So you don't sit and you come and tell us some silly things that one girl enticed me. No.
So a girl cannot entice you?
I'm not saying that they do not. So I said, if you, as a person, you set your goals.
David saw one lady passing and he was tempted.
Of course, David was tempted. And how many times did they write about David that he was tempted? We are talking about something that men are validating, girls are validating. So David that repented like that. Did David say that people should go and...
Samson was brought down by Delilah.
Samson was brought down by Delilah, right? So have you behaved like Samson before?
I'm just saying.
No. Let's talk now, you and I. No. Are you Samson? Have you behaved like Samson before?
I'm just asking. Yes, but there is also something. We know that there was this phenomenon of Kayamata that actually shook the fabric of our communities. And side chicks are still very... Why are we not afraid when we know that they could use Kayamata on us? Man of God. This is spiritual, eh?
When we come to this particular set of discussion, I try as much as possible not to be theoretical. I try
to be too religious.
Yes, I try to be practical and frank about issues. Like from what I heard her saying, I see a woman that was brought up good and liked a good society and wants things to go the way they should go and one thing or the other. Now let's look at relationship from a cultural background, look at relationship from an anthropological setting, look at it sociologically, and also look at it spiritually. You will now realize that it is not just an interest of money that a girl goes to a man. There are many other things that will drag a girl to a man and drag a man to a girl. Many, many things. It's not just money. As a matter of fact, some of these girls take money from from Mr. A and give it to Mr. B. The question you ask yourself is that, why does she give it to Mr. B? It's because Mr. B has what she wants. This is what I'm telling you today. These small girls you see, 16, 17 and everything, what has gone into their head is pornography. What they watch on their phones and everything takes them to pornography. And at the end of the day, they begin to find themselves hot. And what they are looking for is not sex. They are looking for a man that will satisfy them. There's a difference between sex and there's a difference being satisfied. Many women are not satisfied. That is why we are talking about women also going out for men.
Second topic for tonight.
Yes, yeah. That was it. So there are many reasons why a man will be attracted to a woman. You see a man going to a 16-year-old girl, it's not necessarily because the man has not grown. So many factors are involved. What is the background of that man? What are the spirits controlling that man? What are the cultural factors that this man grew up in? It will tell you that it is not just a matter of this. So, this guy in Nigeria that got married is getting married to six women, small children. What is he looking for? Is it money? Is he looking for what? There is something about that man that we need to investigate. It's not just an ordinary marriage that I married 6 women who are light in complexion. It's not like that. The spirit behind that man controls him to do what it, because he has political ambitions, and he doesn't even know that having 6 different women will play down on his political ambition. So he doesn't see that. All he sees is that women are good to sleep with. You want to ask yourself, how many times does he sleep with one of those women? There will be a problem. So now, people look for different things in different people, and that is what we are looking at. So you say people know that they are Kayamata outside and everything, they are still going there and they will not stop, because what is pushing them there is bigger than them. Their spiritual background, their culture. There are some people who cannot resist hips of a woman. If you are a woman, no matter how you're beautiful, you don't have hips, they will not look at you.
Even prayer, tongue praying Christians will go after
Jesus Christ.
one of them.
You cannot be in the spirit 24 hours. You cannot be in the spirit 24 hours. That time that you will come down
All
in the
you need
spirit.
to do is to speak in tongues and you overcome it.
Now, some people are moved by hairs on a woman's body. If they look at a woman and then she has hairs on the chest and also on the legs, they are gone. Some people like a woman with a fat leg that has round legs and everything with good hips. Some people like slender and slim and whatever. What attracted them to this girl may not be what you think. So that's why I want us not to conclude, because man is born free but everywhere in chains. Even in the realm of the spirits, they are changed. Many people are changed because of their background. We talk about David here and everything. David just went and the husband of one woman just died. He married the woman immediately, a big girl. He married the woman immediately. So David had how many wives? 40. The son grew up in that kind of background and had how many? 700 wives and 300 concubines. So your culture and your background where you were raised has a lot to do in relationship and marriage. If you want to marry somebody, find out their culture and their backgrounds. Madam, there are some tribes that cannot do without women. Some tribes, they want to get more women. And since it is socially accepted that you marry one, they go and marry the one and have it. And they will tell you monogamy. But the next time you want to see them, they are going for 8 or 7 or this. Because of what? Their background that controls them is bigger than them. Even their genetic implications.
Okay.
Their
social constraints. Because next week we are going to be looking at this aspect. Because I read somewhere where a man was secretly getting married to another woman.
Yes.
That marriage was disrupted by the children of the and then we have stories from Bamenda where a man is living with another with the wife in the house in Bamenda and is getting married in another
without separating from the other.
Yes. So if the things are just so many, what is pushing men to be having more? Because we are talking about side chicks now. Maybe they want to legalize side chicks. In Douala here, we know so many men who are living with 3 different women. One is in Lokpom over there, the other one is in Bonaberry, and then they are living in Bonamusadi. And the society knows that he's married to this. But now he has officialized side chicks by constructing houses and keeping them there.
This is a very common thing. There are people who are paying rents for university girls in Boya. Constantly. We know of those kind of cases. They pay rents for those girls. Their problem is not the money or everything. It's not even the sex. They just want to get the fine feeling that they have a good girl, a girl that looks good and pretty. Because some of these wives, when they marry, they throw themselves. Because when that man saw you, you were fresh, you were milky, you had some fine, you know, flavor and everything. All of a sudden, you abandon yourself. You throw yourself away. Even the nice perfume you were using, you are not using again. You know, you throw your hair and everything. It's not going again. Okay. How would these people not go out there and begin to look for what they were looking for since before they married?
Okay. Let him come now. Okay. You want to defend the women?
I'm not defending. What I'm trying to say is, if a man has a spiritual problem, spiritual background, whatever, it is okay that you would have gotten to know that this man is coming from the background of polygamy. What about those ones who do not come from those type of backgrounds? Now, I want to think that on a personal note, if you know that this is a problem I have, I want to solve that problem, you look for solutions. Than saying that I come from this type of background. Why is it that you came from a background where your parents were poor and now you have become rich? What actually pushed you?
It is this thing we are saying now that so many people will realize that they are even tired.
No, but that's why that is why we are on this platform. Because when you're saying that some people's backgrounds are made, and some they know, some of them say I will marry, like my father had 5, so I will marry 10. They are saying it. It's not as if they're doing it without knowing. So if your father had 5, I want to now have 10 like David and Solomon. That's what we are saying. But now the Solomon and the things that Solomon was doing, are you able to do that? No, you are just frustrating people left, right, center, and they are fighting. Did you hear that Solomon's wife's fault? We didn't hear that he was charismatic in everything he was doing. So before you want to imitate Solomon, make sure you have the wisdom of Solomon, even to play the type of cards that he was playing. Then I was saying that I'll come back to the women. The victims are always the girls and the women. Whether you like it or not, even you are fat, you are short, you are tall, you always have a man that loves you for the way, because God created that balance. So there's always a man that is going to appreciate you. But then you should respect yourself as a lady. The men are persistent. You have a man that will talk to you for 5 years continuously. He doesn't give up. They are persistent. But now what makes the difference is who you really know that you are. The type of future you are building for yourself. You go, okay, you're professional as somebody's side chick, right? And tomorrow you want to get married to somebody, and it might be that person's son. It might be the person's nephew. And what you have really destroyed their future. So it depends on what you're building for yourself. If you want to build a great future, forget about that thing that you come from what type of background. You're the one laying down your principles because you have vision. You have a vision. You know the type of person that you want to become. So it's on a personal note. Let's drop this thing about background or whatever. You can work it out if you want to.
Drop it. No, you can't drop that.
All right.
Okay. We are pastors. At least we talk from a sense of this thing. We see Apostle John setting people free every day from those things.
No, I think what Madam wants to say is that we should not capitalize on it and use it as an alibi.
Okay.
To keep doing what we're doing.
No. If you counsel people, a lady comes to you that I'm tired. My husband has 2 or 3 side chicks. This other one comes. How do you sort them out, especially for those very possessive side chicks?
You see, most of these things, at times, some of these issues, they prolong because of the approach that you are using, you who is being cheated on.
Okay.
Yeah, the way you go about some of these things. I think last week I shared the testimony of the lady. We had a couples meeting in Bonaberry, and she gave her testimony of how the husband would go and cheat on her, and she decided to pray to the end that the man will no longer erect with another woman apart from her, which happened. So I think at times approach matters a lot. If you are being cheated upon, you as a woman, what you are supposed to do is don't be too emotional about it to the point that you begin to fight, because the error some of them commit is that they begin to attack the side chicks. When you do that, you are giving the man more ground. At times, you can do it in a way that your man will even abandon you in public and side with a side chick, because you have become Sunday and that lady has become Christmas. So what you're supposed to do in such a case is that you compose yourself, you do some talking. Dialogue helps. Then, for me, I think more that confrontations are less effective than conscious talk in matters like this. It's good you sit somebody down and talk to the person's conscience, because most often some people are engaged in these things without looking at the ramifications. Apostle was talking about background, but what I want to say is that when you measure the weight of what you are doing, as Madam said, you'll be able to face the things head on. If you measure the weight of something, you will not say, okay, this is the background I'm coming from. At least there's nothing as permanent as change. We are called upon to change. So if you came from a certain background, you are supposed to change and look at the negative effects of what you are doing. So in this case, the man is also supposed to, the woman is also supposed to cool down herself. What we're having in society is that some people think when my husband is cheating on me, I should cheat in return. When you start doing that, you are just spoiling the things and going. And the devil likes that kind of atmosphere where you do an eye for an eye. When you have that kind of atmosphere, you are already wanting to create it. In fact, you want to make it to enlarge in your marriage. So you should go to a point where you keep yourself in chastity. You keep yourself, in fact, without saying that you are going to pay the man back in cheating also. You talk with the man and you pray along. You see, I know that the person who really, at the end of the day, holds the heart of every man in his hand is God. So if you present your matters to God, He is going to be able to sort you out. But when you want to become too confrontational, most often it doesn't work. Some women say, in fact, if you do, I will kill somebody. I will, like the cases we saw where somebody went and was beating people up. We have had a case where somebody beat and then pour pepper in the eyes. That's not the formula, because when you do that, the man will only, look at you like somebody who is being desperate. Sometimes just your silence can even, prick the man too much when you have noticed what he is doing and you decide to be very composed and you are still that good wife he used to be. The man it will be like you have heaped a coal of a pot of burning coals on the man's head, and he will become to feel so uneasy. So I was saying that it is better to give the man some kind of conscience talk than to be confrontational in most of the cases, because experience has proven that being confrontational does not end up sorting out the matter. In many cases, at times the man will tell you, okay, I will change, and it ends there. If he tells you I will change and it ends there, he has kind of just neutralized whatever he wanted to do. But if you talk with the man and then you keep showing the man love, and sometimes you can ask the man, so, okay, what am I not doing rightly? Okay. Yes, you see, I know when we say this, women will say it is the man's world. It's not about being the man's world here. We are talking about building healthy marriages, and this has to do with sacrifice. There are some things you must lay aside, you must sacrifice them in order to have these healthy marriages we're talking about.
Okay, greetings to you, Mr. Liu, and everybody in the station. I am Pastor Diamond Dziange from Bafusam. Just a contribution. The highest crisis to this issue is identifying crisis, having Christ in us and being conscious about the personality of Christ in us is the biggest solution to fight these side chick issues. Being a side chick only makes you short-sighted and limited to see the potentials you have as a woman. And men who do these things deep inside them, they know it's wrong, but try to fight their conscience. A side chick can only be threatened as a chicken. The man throws some grain of corn or rice and money to deceive her and get what he wants from her, and she becomes irrelevant after that. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all on board. As a servant of God, I vehemently and flagrantly condemn side chick phenomenon. However, Mr. Liu, some of these women, so-called married women, foolishly encourage side chick. For example, a woman who's never there to serve her husband food because the house help is there. A woman who is not romantic and always appear untidy. A woman who cannot dialogue with the husband, especially when she hurts the husband and is comfortable to stay without making peace with her husband. Mr. Liu, what do you expect from such a man? He will surely fall into the hands of a smart, desperate side chick alongside some married women don't deserve marriage. Daddy Clay is writing from Boya. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. There are situations where some women also side men. What can we say about that? A woman telling a guy she likes him. We are going to be discussing this after this topic. Good evening, panelists. I'm Richard in Boya. What causes some men to go for this side chick is temptation. The way some of these girls dress these days is terrible. Some dress half naked, so it's seductive. Okay, receive grace to overcome temptation, my brother. Good evening. Mr. Liu, hey, it's been long since I participated in the program. Mr. Liu, I think this is a problem on side chick. I don't know, but Then some people from men who are naturally cheat, and there are some men giving that due to the situation that they are facing in their homes. But what I know when it comes to side chick and those guys who involve themselves in the things of that character, what I know is that when you are going through things of that character, just know that there is something wrong. It is your wife in the house is not giving the way you want, because I don't know, that's my only way, my own opinion of you. And in addition to that, I also like when I was at my own issues, I just wanted to help me out. Oops, very long. And the message is not too clear. Can you just call me after the program? Good evening, Mr. Liu. This side chick issue is very sensitive point. I think self-discipline is the solution to the problem. Akwanga Diodune is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all in the studio. I hail you all. This matter of side chick is getting into its peak until the side chicks even threaten the main chicks. Normally, men are like contrarize. Even if a woman selects from January to December, you still choose tone. For me to manage its side chicks, abeg, una respect the main chicks, for God's sake. Karma is real. It's Birita writing from mile 6, Mancon. We are going to take the second intervention of Ms. Asanji Yvette on this topic.
Mr. Leo, side chicks have stages. You know, the first stage is they just get into the relationship, they know you are married, they are okay being a side chick. They are okay with it. They know that after everything you have to finish and go back home to your wife, and when you're at home they don't have to call you. You know, they know those things and they are okay with it. That's the first stage. Now the second stage is a stage where she starts getting bored of being a side chick, and now she starts aspiring being a wife. At that moment, sometimes even if you're home and she wants to call you, she will call. Sometimes, even though sometimes she'll, you know, she'll respect all the rules. Now the third stage is a stage where she gets into, she wants to become the wife. Yes, at that stage she doesn't care. She doesn't care about anything. She doesn't care about you, the wife at home, the marriage, and most often they'll trap you. They'll make sure that they're ovulating, then have you have sex with them. They get pregnant for you, and then threaten you with the pregnancy. You must marry them. Some who are okay with being a second wife, they're okay. They can tell you must marry them, or you must keep them as a co-wife. Some who don't even want to share you with any other person again will tell you no. They'll do everything to make sure that your wife leaves so that they can come in. So they can tell the wife at home they are pregnant. Worse in a case where maybe the wife is not able to bear children. So they will declare it very fast to them, very fast to the wife, so that the wife gets angry and give them space and leave their home so that they can come in. So side chicks have stages. So if you're having a side chick and they're still at the stage where they're okay just being a side chick, don't think it's going to end there. There will be a day that it will be hot in your home. There will be fire on the mountain, and you will have to choose between your side chick and your wife. But when it comes now to managing aspects of side chick, I want to tell women something. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to stop a man who is a cheat from cheating. No amount of respect. I mean, if you like, sleep on the ground for him to trample upon you, to walk on you. No amount of respect can stop a cheat from cheating. No amount of submission can stop a cheat from cheating. Mr. Leo, honestly, it can take a cheating man, it can take no time to concentrate back on his home. But when a woman is cheating, it can take a great deal for her to really, you know, get back her focus, her mind, her feelings, her emotions back to the home. It can take a lot. Because sometimes men can cheat with no strings attached. A man can just cheat because he was tempted, not tempted per se, he got erected and he needed maybe somewhere to empty himself. But for a real woman to cheat, there's a lot that is entailed. So once women start cheating, know that that home is about to collapse.
Okay, she's already getting to our second topic, and I'll get one last reaction on how to solve if you were to, persons came to you to say, ladies, a man is cheating for so long. Very briefly, how should she handle this situation?
The simple thing is this: we should be able to recognize that this man has a need.
Okay.
So what is the need of this man?
Mm-hmm.
It is what we call introspection. We're going to go through all that, trying to ask questions around before we can get to the main problem. Not every man has the same need. Some has the sex need, others has the care need, others just have a fancy for some kind of ladies, others have a spiritual background, others are from a genetic problem. They have a problem from their genetics, their tribal genetics. It is haunting them. So we cannot take one case and generalize it, or we want to use one expertise or your experience to generalize every case. Every individual have different ways which their problems can be solved. And I am telling you the truth. Some people don't want to see girls with light color. Immediately they see girls that are light, who have long hairs, they're in trouble. So we just need to see that this man has this problem, and we are going to identify his problem, and we're going to give him solution according to his problem. That's how we work out things.
Okay.
As a woman, it's a little bit challenging because we are talking about the needs of men here, and the needs of men, like Pastor is saying, Apostle is saying, they are different. Unfortunately, the man who cannot carry the wife and be moving around with. So that everywhere you see a woman with long hair, you are fair. Since you are fair, you satisfy that need anywhere you are. So since we know that it's impossible, right? What are we supposed to do? If a woman comes to me now and says the husband is cheating, some of these young girls like that have been coming to me. Now, what I usually tell them is, I usually advise them to work on themselves first. Because most often the cheating starts coming when there's a crisis in the house, it's neglected, and now when it's neglected, he'll be tempted to tell his friend. And then when he's tempted to tell his friend, maybe they are sitting somewhere and they're speaking not necessarily in the friend's house, because they will not want maybe the wife to hear. So when they sit there, they take maybe a bottle of something, it starts generating to another thing, one girl passes like that, and that's how some of those problems come in. So I usually ask the women to work on themselves, and sometimes when you're talking with the girls, you realize that there is actually a problem that they need to fix. For example, most of the girls that were working before, when they come into a marriage now, the workload becomes very, very heavy. It becomes heavy, then the man too hasn't got a good approach to tell you that the way you look, that's not how you are looking again or whatever. He only tells you that by taking a side chick. So you need to understand who you married and the way he tells you information. So what is happening here? When you start talking with them, you see that you realize that they have changed even physically. They have changed even mentally. The way they used to approach things, their approaches are different. You need to find out why. And most of you see that the workload in the house is usually so much, especially if a woman has to go to work and come back, go do this and that. So it's usually heavy on them, because the other time on this platform I was talking about the girl child, that it's necessary for a girl child to have, like, let's say 2, 3, 4 years to stay alone after university. Or give the girl child some time to be independent and be able to manage herself. Because a girl child stays in the house. Maybe she goes to the dormitory, she comes back to the house. Afterwards, she goes to university and comes back. Or some don't even go, some even leave the house to go to university. After that, they leave from there and go to a man's house. They are not mature enough when it comes to time management. So sometimes it's because of that lack of time management skill, that is bringing all of the confusion, and you find the men go out there, because the girls who are out there, maybe they'll be able to manage their time.
So a woman, what should a woman do? A woman who is caught in this trap with the cheating husband, with the the side chicks everywhere.
No, I'm saying that you, the woman, I prefer that you work on yourself first.
Okay.
Yes, I prefer that you work on yourself, like what Reverend was saying. Yeah, you need to work on yourself. I don't really admit that part of you going to fight. me like this physically, I don't really have the strength to fight. So I don't usually advise somebody to go and fight. You can go and they beat you very well. If you have a gap tooth like me, you might lose another tooth that you become very ugly again. And then a man now will just use it against you. So I pray that we
just protect what you have already.
Yeah, I pray that you learn the man that you learn to know who you married.
I think in a nutshell, the approach you adopt in this cheating matter is, in fact, that is the key of it. As I said before, learn to sit down, think very well. Think and draw a plan, you know. Coming out of this thing has to do with, like, you know, at times when the country wants to come out of a certain challenge, they do a developmental plan. Have your plan well crafted out. Because if you want to become so emotional, you begin to behave like a balloon. And you know, when a balloon is well inflated, the least thing makes it to explode. You don't behave that way. Okay. The best thing you can do is be calm, be mature, and your maturity is what is going to throw pepper in the eyes of that man and that woman. It is not your confrontations and agitations.
Please, there is no tangible reason for having a side chick. You men should change. That small girl that is shining today will be looking like your wife in a few weeks. So take care of your wives. I hate hearing this conscience. This is conscience from Tico. She goes further to say a woman works 24 hours a day, can never look same as a free girl doing all the paintings every day, every morning and afternoon. Okay. Hi, Mr. Leo. Greetings to the men, women of God. Which is better, polygamy or side chick? Kennedy is writing from Yaoundé. That would be a topic for another day. Can you just jot down in our forum so that one day, I think, no, but polygamy or side chick? Okay. Good evening, Uncle Leo. Please, where is Apostle Ambe? I miss him so much on the program. Bethel is writing from Douala. Apostle Ambe took a sabbatical, so he's resting. Hello, panelists. Please, my humble observation is 90% of cheaters have one reason or another. Like Apostle is saying, different qualities attract either the man or woman. In couples, there is need for each partner to be sincere, okay? Muhammadu writing from Yaoundé says, good evening, Mr. Leo and co. Concerning the topic of today, marital counseling explains that there are two main causes, which are the push and pull factors. The ill is long as humanity. Thank you. Okay, there is a push factor and then there is a pull factor. Okay. Good evening. I am Godlove in Yaoundé. The dress code of girls and women today is so tempting, especially that of married women. You know, it is difficult for a fowl to see corn and don't speak. Okay, so men are now fowls. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. For me, I ask my man when I need him. Not only my man can say he needs me when I'm hungry. Janet is writing from Bafusam, correct woman. A man is supposed to discipline himself from issue of side chicks. Some women lure men into having them as their side chick, men and same to men. God changes a man or woman when they want him to do it. He can't force us to change. Every man or woman in general has a scripture to support his facts of anything they do or intend to do to satisfy themselves. From Ken Bamenda, good evening, my Media Prime. Good evening to you too. Banlaf says, thanks for many good topics always. I'm from Northwest region working in the far north. Culture play a lot, as Pastor is saying. Okay, it's Apostle Essingie is saying. Yeah, if I didn't hold myself well, I would have gotten into many wives as proposed by their parents, both Muslims and pagans. The girls are even ready to become side chicks or wives. Here, to be a man in the society depends on the number of wives and children you have. What about on Jumba market in some cultures where there is exchange of wives on that day? You people have good ideas as Christians, but think of society mixed with pagans. Okay, we are moving straight to our second topic for tonight, which has to do with men and the side guys of their wives. This is a phenomenon that is also taking ground, Reverend. There are women who are threatening to cheat more than the men today.
What do you call it threatening? They are doing
They're
it
cheating.
already.
They're cheating, not that they're threatening.
Yes. So many women are cheating on their,
Yes.
on their husband.
There are women that are cheating. There are women that sleep with their neighbors, never sleep with the other ones like that. They're like that.
Okay. Yeah.
There are women that do that.
They are threatening to overtake the men in cheating. Married women. That's
Yeah, that's what we're talking
No,
about.
but I'm still having difficulties accepting that in terms of numbers, absolute numbers, it can be, but in terms of proportions, it might not be. What do I mean? In society, you have more women than men. So if call it, let's look at, let's say in a week, if 12 women cheat as against 8 men that cheated, it doesn't mean that women cheat more than men. Proportionally, we have more women in society than men. The truth is that it is so sad that this particular aspect of women also cheating is entering our society. From Bible days, cheating was known as the man's thing. I'm not saying that it was right, but when you go through the Bible, I don't remember women who cheated in the Bible.
The woman was caught in the very act of adultery.
That very act of adultery, I don't think that woman was, it has to do with translation, because that woman was a
You want
prostitute.
to bring spirit in this thing?
No, man of God.
Very act of adultery.
Man of God.
That's what the Bible calls it. How do you want to spell Bible now?
Look at this thing. That the Bible does not talk about this man's husband. This one had to do with adultery. You see, there are translations that have some things to do with some of the words we see there. For instance, when Jesus Christ says, if a man puts aside his wife for reason of fornication, you know, a married person does not commit fornication. So I'm just trying to, it's a parenthesis to say. Now, what I'm saying in essence is this. When society reaches this level where women are also engaged in cheating, it becomes very sad. And why are they? One, for retaliation. Some are cheating because their husband cheated on them. 2, because of lack of sexual satisfaction by their husbands. Some are cheating because their husbands cannot satisfy their sexual desires on their marriage bed. Why are some cheating? The cheating that some people get involved in is under peer pressure. They belong to a group of shining ladies.
Yes.
They belong to a group of professional ladies who are of a certain class. And what they do is, a certain weekend, they leave for Limbe, they go to Kribi, they do the beaching, and at the end of it all, they distribute themselves among men, people's wives, and then come back and sit at home as if nothing happened. Some of them are doing it under peer pressure. They are in the entourage of some women whose moral identity is very doubtful, who are moral dwarfs, who get engaged in some of these things, and then a humble woman who had been wanting to build her home gets involved or gets to be functioning with them and starts doing this thing. Some of them are doing it because they want to explore to see how it also happens with another man, and they go and test it, and if war betide them that their husband is less performant than the man they went and tested, it becomes a new normal for them. So some of these factors are many that account for women cheating on their husbands. But do they justify cheating? No, it doesn't justify the fact that you as a married woman, you now start going out with other men. We have bashed the men in the course of these side chick issues. So women, this is also your turn. We are saying that side guys is not supposed to be a part of your relationship. When you are married to your husband, be faithful, whatever the matter be. There will be cases where you will say, okay, I am doing this because the man cheated on me. 2 wrongs have never formed a right. Never. So if your husband cheats on you and you think that the response will be that you should cheat on him, you are simply building a kind of atmosphere in your home that you will not be able to manage anytime soon. So the repercussions of these things. And for women even, you see, at times when they go and cheat, they may bring a pregnancy. As I think we discussed here some time back, and said that there are many people who are fathering children that are not their kids. They are kids that their wives went and carried from outside, and they are fathering it thinking it's their children. And this issue of DNA test has become so rampant. So women are supposed to, as much as possible, as we called on the men in the previous topic, women are supposed to also keep themselves in faithfulness, marital faithfulness unto their husbands. That is what you are called unto as a wife. Because as I think we have said it here, that it is possible for a man to cheat on his wife and still love the woman. But when a woman gets to a level where he has cheated on the husband, love has flown through the window. The woman will no longer love the husband. It is possible. We say it is possible that a man can cheat on his wife, but still genuinely love the woman. But when a woman opens up to the point where he is being kept. I spoke with a case where the lady told me for about 4 years running, the husband has not asked her out. Has not requested for sex. She tries to do it, the man closes up for 4 years. So she tried to keep herself for the first 2 years, and it didn't work out. So from the third year, she decided that she would start giving in to the proposal of other people. It is wrong the way it is, but also, how can you as a man, you have a wife, and for 4 years, you don't
But
have...
you did not ask these questions that there are women who stab their husbands also when we were discussing previously.
No.
There are women who do that also.
Very true, Mr. Leo. We said so, but we are saying that there is no justified reason for you to have a side chick or a side guy because you think your husband cheated on you. Most of these things have to do with a discussion. If and you people have dialogued over the issue, there is always a way out.
How do we explain this this rise in women wanting to rival men in cheating?
Internet.
That is keeping...
Internet. Okay. Internet is the main cause for all this. The kind of things we see on the internet and some of the romance and all the things, the pornographic materials on the internet are pushing the women every other day. And, you know, a lot of guys meet these women on Facebook and they want to chat with them. You know, you go and snap your beautiful picture. You see a particular married woman is changing pictures every day on Facebook. And then all the friends that she has, they are men, male friends. No, not just friend, harmless discussion. Nothing is wrong. And you discuss, and some of these boys know how to talk, especially these scammers. Scammers know how to take money from people. That is how they know how to woo some of these married women. You know, scammers know how to do these things. Sometimes they even go to the point of doing naked videos and so on and so forth. We are seeing all those things every day. We are hearing all those things every day. They're happening on the internet. They're happening everywhere. As our sister even talked about, the other one is neighbor help neighbor. Some of these are guys who walk very far, like go to the sea, and you come back after 1 month and this thing. And then the worst one is that, see, Mr. Leo, you cannot understand what is really happening. Many of these are girls run into marriage when they know that was not the right person they wanted to marry. They just went into it because the man was ready financially. The real man that used to satisfy them did not have money or was not ready for the marriage. But the other guy is ready for marriage and he's a gentleman, and then your parents accept the man. But when you enter into the house, you discover that orgasm is not forthcoming because you are already used to orgasm and used to some kind of things. What happens? You are forced now to begin to look for it. How do you teach men? This thing is not something you teach for one day.
Yes. You teach them.
We are talking every day to people. We go for counseling. They have tried to teach, and sometimes you want to teach a man, you say, hey, have you been a prostitute before? Because the way you are trying to teach me this thing is like you are a prostitute. And women don't like to feel like that. They don't like to feel low. You know, she is trying to tell you that this is the way I enjoy it, and you begin to say, no. Why should you be asking that kind of a thing? Are you a prostitute? Because men prefer to have, you know, sex anyhow with another woman outside than to have it anyhow with their wife inside. Because when they start having anyhow with their wife inside, they are so frustrated that their wife may want to go out for a man when they are not there. That's how these things work.
So the problem is the man.
No, the problem is not necessarily the man. The problem is the concept of love making and the concept of marriage. People marry because they think that a man is ready. They should also marry who they think can be able to match up to. So I'm talking about in terms of the social world. Now, a girl who has known these things so well and come to church and marry a genuine brother who is just loving the Lord and wants to take fasting and prayer, everything. The truth about it is that that girl is going to cheat, because fasting and prayer cannot go with those kind of things. You don't. Yes, because just the fact that you go for fasting and prayer cannot give you the energy to carry out some of those kind of things. And then this girl is the die-hard, the one that wants the hard and the strong ones. And what happens? She goes out to look for it. And as a matter of fact, remember that the old boyfriend is just one step through on phone, Facebook. The old boyfriend is there. Even if he doesn't have the number, it's on Facebook. Anytime he can just tap and there. How you move hand for my skin, so that's all. How you move hand for my skin. Now all that way, you just need for talk. And then the matter now, it take another day. Say, no, I don't move hand for your skin. No, you don't go marry it. No, you don't go marry it, no. Okay, so you mean that you don't want married here? I don't want married. That is all. the story changes. We are seeing these things, we are learning every day. That's why you see, sometimes I like to be very practical when people come to me. I don't want to try to make it to be spirit, or some kind of theoretical kind of thing. And then after that, they go back, they cannot face what they want to face. This whole thing is when you have already known some kind of things. You have known what romance is all about, and the man will just come and tell you to sleep down, lie down, and then he comes in, you are feeling pains instead of, some kind of things. So a lot of things will push a woman to do these things. But when she will run and go outside, and this other guy will know how to start from her. She will know where to use the ear, to use the hair, to use the this, to use the that. And then at the end of the day, this woman is drunk. Highest thing is that she gives in her all, and she gets the best, and come to a man in the house who is always snoring after work without having time for some kind of things. This is exactly our major problem in the society. And do you know that some of these artificial foods we eat every day is helping to spark some of these our hormones and give us this rising appetite for sex? That's what I made that research on this day. I was trying to I say, how does your sex drive has to do with the artificial things that you eat every day? Even the food you eat plays on your hormones, and women are those kind of people that their hormones change at every moment. It can switch when she feels that she needs sex now, she can call the next person on Facebook to meet her anywhere she wants to go. Facebook is a very dangerous material, a very, very dangerous tool that is destroying the whole. And if you want to remove a married woman on Facebook, she will not accept. You see all her beautiful pictures, all her new dresses that she has bought, she's there. And some of them snap in a kind of way. They tell you that that woman is a married woman, you will not even believe it. And how many of those married women have their husbands on their profile? They don't have. Many of them run away from that. Because of what? They are chatting boys. No, I'm single. I'm not married. And there's no way you will guess, because you scroll through her profile, you discover that there is no man there, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to pull here is that our society needs to come to the place that Facebook and all these internet things, Instagram, has to be regulated. If not, the worst is yet to come. Our women will do things that Napoleon left undone. Our women will carry some kind of thing, and they will tell you that that's a woman you will not believe. Women will go for bars to go and drink. The next thing is behind the house, is behind the club. That those things happen. Because
with a man?
Yes, quickies. That's what they call quickies.
No, I wanted to hear what I used was different.
Yes, with a man, with another man. You just go there, you finish. You go to the house and you are like innocent, nothing has happened. Because of this kind of society where we have, it is already polluted with immorality, and we have gone on the internet and drained our spirits on it. And the next man you see, you are seeing that next man like an angel. You see that next man like that man of six pack. Because where are six pack people found now in the society? We don't yet have six packs again on the society. They are found on the internet. We see all the six packs now, but on the internet. Okay, because they don't have job.
Okay, Petula Bih.
Yes, sir. All right.
This is something we are saying. He says the proportion may not be too high. He says the proportion is high. You are a woman.
Yeah.
They confide in you.
Yes, I don't really want to talk about the proportion. If it is one woman, it is bad.
Okay.
If it is one man, it is bad. What we are saying on this platform, we will start raising our voices. Oh, women have done this, women have done that. So that's what I keep asking. With a man now, you say yes. With a man now, we say yes.
You were not asking when we were discussing the other one. You were not asking.
No, I came late.
No,
I came when they are talking.
This woman is a feminist.
No, I am. I don't refuse. I am. Do you know what I'm asking?
It's always good to call evil and ever.
I have said this, that if it is one woman, it is bad. That is how I introduce it.
She is justifying that the lady is doing that with a man.
No, I am not justifying. Listen, Mr. Leo. I first started. Can you let me talk?
With a lady.
Yes, that's why I started by saying that the women. When I said that women, girls. No, I said that. No, let me follow. There's someone I'm ready for him. When I started saying that girls have low self-esteem, they have low this and that, you did not complain. Didn't you hear that? When I say girls, did I say boys? No. So what I'm saying is this. I said if it is one woman, it is bad. There is no way we can ever be comparing the rates at which men cheat to the rate at which women cheat in a society that wanted to grow to maybe to a positive direction. So I am not there to say that what the women are doing, like what Apostle he has enumerated a lot of reasons why women may cheat, right? But now, is there no other possibility for you not to cheat? There is. Some of these women don't even cheat. They just cheat because can you imagine that this is your neighbor? The next minute, a man that is your neighbor, I mean two married couples, neighbors, A man is sleeping with your wife, and your wife is sleeping with the other man. There's some insanity in it. It's not normal, you know. We're not even talking about people that you even find that there's a need that is lacking. All of them are at the same level. You see, nobody is trying to even improve on something. You see
he raised an issue here.
Yes.
That physically speaking, you may think that they are at the same level, but we are talking about emotional needs, meeting emotional needs here.
That is what I'm saying, that we are meeting emotional needs, right? You want to meet it means the thing has gone into your head in such a way that the next number you sleep with, the next woman you sleep with, it's just going round there. A man is here, he sleeps with this woman, he sleeps with this one, sleeps with this one, and then these women like this, they begin to sleep with them. I'm telling you a situation in an environment that I've seen.
Okay.
Yes, I've witnessed it. They just yes. So I'm talking about the worst case. I'm not talking about somebody that we know that loves fair girls, so he's going only behind fair girls. I'm talking about people that even widows they sleep with, even those that are married they sleep with. So what do you want to tell me? So it's not as if this thing like this is something that I'll go back to mindset. Because even in that area there are men that don't sleep with women. Even in that area, there are men that they don't have the same level as, they have the same needs, and they have controlled themselves. Even in those areas, there are women who do not accept those things. So I think that it's a problem of mindset. It's a problem of personality. It's a problem of knowing who you are and how to get what you actually need and where. It's a problem of you taking your responsibility and not just behaving anyhow in society because you want to say, I have a need. Don't have a need. That's somebody that just wrote that if I did not control myself in the far north, I would have had several women. And that's somebody that is testifying that comes from a polygamous background. But he has chosen not to, because to him it is not right. He has worked on his mindset. So it's not an issue of people have different needs and what. Those needs will never come to an end. If it's like that, you forever, even when you grow older, you still see a woman and you still want to, but you will not have the energy. So now it is, for me, it's an issue of mindset. It's an issue of identifying your personality and building the kind of future you want for yourself. And even, what about women? There are women that come from polygamous background, yet they are not polygamous. They don't sleep around because they've discovered that some things that maybe their mothers did are not good, and they've chosen to work on those areas and say, no, we are building a new generation. So it's not, I don't have any reason to support anybody that is just, whether you're a man or you're a woman, whether you're background or you're front ground, whether you're side ground, all those things. There are people who come from worst backgrounds that are behaving better. So I think everybody can do better.
Everybody can do better.
Yes, that's what I believe.
We are talking about women here. We are not talking about everybody.
Every woman can do better. I've corrected myself.
They should stop it.
Yeah, they should stop now. They are cheating with the men. They should stop cheating with the men. The men should stop cheating with the women.
No, women, yeah.
Okay, the women should stop cheating with the men. Women. Because
I don't want our audience to get, we are talking about women who are living with men in the house, yes, and are keeping
side guys. So let the women stop keeping the side guys. I mean, they should work on their mentalities. It's a shame to me.
That's what they are talking about.
I've said this.
Somebody to stop.
I have said that.
What they are going through. The fantasy and the ecstasy.
Excuse me.
What have I said here? See, if you don't know your values, you don't know your values, right? You don't know you don't know who you represent.
No. Have you seen? At least you're a woman now.
Yes.
There are some women who would say they have never reached orgasm. There are others who are punching bags in their house. There are others with very irresponsible drunks as husbands.
Yes.
You don't think that you have a message for the husbands to also work on themselves so that their wives can feel more comfortable?
When I wanted to talk about husbands, I should not talk about husbands.
No, because you from every indication, no woman has any reason to do anything. There is a pull and a push factor.
When I was mentioning the men, you said I should not mention men. Then I came back to the women. Now you are bringing back the men. Let's talk about the men now. When we talk about men, I said that there is no man, no background, like Apostle is saying, that you should, if you already know that your background has a problem, then you should look for the solution to that problem. And Apostle is here, Reverend is here. You have contacts, you give their contacts there, they have those problems. Learn and look for solutions. The thing is that we are looking for wrong solutions. Because I know that in my background we are polygamous, then I should keep practicing polygamy and hurting other people around me, right? Instead of saying that, no, I come from a background of polygamy, I saw the way my parents lived, and the wives were not happy, even the husband, Papa was not happy. Okay. So I should correct that. That's from the onset. No, that's what I was saying.
Yes, but that's not what I'm saying. What you are saying is that the guy is a cheat because he has background problems. I'm talking about the push factor that is taking women out because of their men. Because you may not necessarily be a cheat bed. You cannot satisfy your wife in the house. That is a push factor. You may be beating the wife all the time, and then she sees you as a monster and can only find solace out. That is a push factor. Or other things. Is how do we get the husband to be accommodative, change his mannerism, because you raise the issue also that there are some women who do not take care of themselves, who do not perfume themselves enough to be charming and loving for their husbands. There are also husbands are supposed to work on that also.
Yes, and I think one of the dimensions is hygiene. Many men are very untidy. You see someone will leave beards like a Boko Haram. And with body odor and all of those things, those are some of the factors too. It's not only about the women who are supposed to also keep themselves tidy. Men are also supposed to keep themselves tidy, especially some of these men that smoke. At times we find out how do they really kiss their wives, because just from afar the stench already pushes you almost fall. So some of those things also men are supposed to take off. But we still go back to the fact that there is no reason for which you as a woman should leave your husband back at home and go out. What I believe in marriage is that challenges are supposed to be fought by both. If there is a medical challenge, if the man is suffering from a biological deficiency, let's say he is not well performant, two of you can go. If you go to hospital, people should go to the hospital and consult together. You should not say, if they are counting men, do you think you are a man? Go and look for a solution yourself. No. Talk to the man in a way that the man can be encouraged. Both of you go and seek for medical attention so that the thing is sorted out. And as we said, men should not also have too much of ego. If there is a reason for which your wife is supposed to educate you about some issues that have to do with sexuality, which is one of the reasons that people go out to cheat, be open enough, be teachable enough to learn and gain those skills to be able to satisfy your wife's sexual desires. One reason for which some women go out is that they are in fact, their libido is higher than that of the men. The sexual libido of the man is higher than that of the men. So at that level now, the woman may be desiring so much while the man is not. So at times it may be caused by several factors.
But in such a case, how do you do it? You pray the woman's libido to come down, or
no?
You work on the man.
Not necessarily.
The man works on himself.
The man works on himself.
And the woman also
works on herself, because what is supposed to be there is that one thing we must understand is I always believe that the biggest sexual organ, if I thought that's the right expression of in a person, is the mind. When your mind says yes, few are the factors that will say no when it comes to sexual performance. So what a couple is supposed to do in such an instance is, first and foremost, what could be accounting for the high difference in libido? That's why some medical experts, in theory, they think it is good that the age difference between a man and his wife be 10 years, that the gap should be 10 years. Why? Well, the reason for which they put it at 10 is that a man's sexual libido begins to fall at 55, while that of a woman begins to fall at 45 when she reaches, when she has entered menopause. But though it is a subjective factor, because the more the more children a woman delivers, the more her menopause is delayed. So some of these things, we just have to look at how a couple must see how together they manage their things. If there is a challenge and two of you put your hands on deck, it is easier to manage it than when you throw it to one person and you begin to stigmatize the person.
That's a great problem.
Yes, at times the man's challenge may be medical. If you start throwing the thing at the man, it will cause the man to sink more. See, nothing will cause a man to be less performant than when the woman throws words at him. Sorry. Yes, call it 2 minutes man and give you all forms of names. In fact, it discourages the man, so that if the man were to even improve, the man is going to only keep sinking to limbo. So the best thing to do is, if you people are having a challenge in your couple life, the solution is not to look for external refuge. It cannot be so. There are moments that a woman might be, maybe let's say in a moment of pregnancy, and the woman is not so much in, maybe her sexual response is reduced.
It depends on the woman.
No, I'm just saying that some. That's why I said some. There's some.
During that time.
Yeah, there's some cases like that. So if that is the case, you don't expect that the man should go out. So if the man also has some challenges, maybe they may be seasonal or maybe something that the person has grown up with, there is no reason for which you should go out because that man is having that challenge.
Okay.
Two of you discuss on it, work on it, and see how you can sort it out.
Okay, let me get some viewers express their. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The apostles' presentations are more of negative education than morals. It's like those who don't know should know and practice the ills. At the end of it all should be a moral conclusion from them. Sally is writing from Bomenda. Sally, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Liu. All men need is self-discipline and should build their family on the foundation of love. Side chicks can only come to drain you spiritually and financially. Apostle Ambi has been missing on the program. Hope he's fine. Martin is writing from Garwa. He's on sabbatical. I hope he finds time to come back. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I have seen married women pay for sex, even their house boys or gate men for sex, either because their husbands are busy traveling or don't even have their time. Stephanie is writing from Chang. Good evening to you, Stephanie. Hello, sir. I have a friend of mine who is married, but she has feelings for another man outside, and the feelings she has for that man is so strong. Please, what should she do? She should seek the advice of a counselor. She has a problem. Good evening to you all in the panel. I have a friend who is married and had a side chick. Later, the side chick got married too, and her batch if the married man made love to the side chick and they vowed it has ended. But behold, Mr. Leo, today they are still cheating on each other. They can't resist each other anymore. What a world we are living in. Konyu is writing from Yaoundé.
That's what I was talking about, soul tie.
Okay.
They already have a soul tie. So
Okay.
the connect is difficult.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Apostle Essingie is an expert in his game. He knows all the ways these play boys grab women. Chai. Okay. Hello, good evening in the studio. I'm so impressed with okay. Hello, good evening everyone in the studio, and thanks for the topic. Every woman should be respectful to her husband. Most importantly, married women should be very respected by their husbands, because I believe it takes a decision of a man to get married. So you made a choice, so stand to it and fix it up when it changes that you don't like. Same thing goes to the woman, to do the same thing. So please, every one man or woman should make sure we make the right decision and the right choices before going for marriage. TP Lovis is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The second topic of women having side guys is so sad. Most of these ladies do so in revenge to what their husbands do outside. Lack of sexual desires from the men might push them, the women outside. Then the internet is another pushing factor. Whatever be the case, women are supposed to be faithful to their husbands, irrespective of their cheating attitudes. Thanks. Joe Taco is writing from Yaoundé. So many viewers from Yaoundé this evening. Hello, Mr. Leo. Please, how can you handle the case where you are legally married monogamy, but your husband goes ahead and married another wife? We are going to be discussing that next week. You have children for your husband and he's still having children with his other wife. Please, how can you handle the situation? We are going to be discussing that next week. But if you really want to talk to any of them, after the program, request for their numbers. They are going to counsel you, please. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists on board. For me, I think to reduce this aspect of side chick, side guys, if we keep religion aside and go back to our traditional values where a man is normally polygamous. Jethro is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Most side chicks are women that have divorced their husbands. Okay, let us take a listen to Mr. Asanji contribute to this topic.
Once more, good evening, Mr. Leo. Yes, we also have side guy and husband tussle. And in as far as cheating is concerned, we discourage cheating at all levels. Be it the man cheating, be it the woman cheating. We discourage it because cheating is cheating and it has the same effect or the same impact on a marriage. But there is something about a woman cheating. Women are very emotional beings. Okay, if a woman is cheating, either she's doing it for money. Let's say emotions is not part of it, right? If we say emotions, we want to keep emotions aside. Be rest assured that she's doing it for money. Maybe the husband is not meeting up with her financial needs, and maybe she has come across a guy that's rich, and so maybe the guy is taking care of her financially, and so she chooses to go cheat. So she might be doing that out of, for financial gain. But if you see a woman that is cheating because she loves the man outside, be rest assured that that marriage is crumbling. That marriage is about to collapse. If a woman is cheating and adds emotions to it, I mean, she loves the guy outside. Like I said, a woman will not cheat without transferring the feelings she has for the husband to the man outside. She must first of all transfer the feelings. One thing about women is that, Mr. Leo, real women, I mean the women that will not go cheat because they need money or because they need anything material or materialistic. If you see a woman cheating, just know that she must have feelings for you as a guy before she can even think of, maybe having anything as far as sex is concerned with you. It's difficult for a woman to give her body to a man whom she feels nothing for. It's difficult. I mean, we're keeping aside the materialistic aspect and the financial aspect of it. If she's really just out there to find happiness, know that she has transferred the feelings she has for the husband to the man outside before she's cheating, and that is a very dangerous thing.
But we also know that some women will go out there because they're looking for a child because their husbands cannot impregnate them.
Yes, a lot of them go for children.
You are living with your wife in the house, and then you have 4 kids, but none of the kids are yours. Yes,
and most of these women who are looking for children are somehow in a blackmail.
Okay.
When they have the first one, if the father of the child is after her, so she's forced now to have the second and the third and the fourth. That's what happens. She doesn't really go to have 4 children for outside, but she went to maybe I should have 1 at least so that I can be a woman. People can also talk about me. But when she goes out there, a lot of things are wrong. And there are some that goes for these children, and before they go, they make sure that they have done blood tests and all the like and all those things. It means that she intentionally did it. So she was not doing it for the fun. She was not doing it for any other thing. But the man was doing it for the fun. And now she cannot go back because the man is after her and she is afraid of blackmail. So when she has gotten to the point where the man wants sex all the time, I want to see you now, meet me at this hotel and this and this and this and this, she just have to go because she knows that there's nothing I can do about it. She just needs to stay there. So a lot of people are going through blackmail. A lot of people are going through blackmail. I'm one of those kind of people that to blackmail me is very difficult. Yes, I'm saying that. It's very difficult. Because of what? I'm very outspoken. Before you want to know it, I've already told people. Before you want to know it, I've helped you to put it on the internet. So that you don't even bother yourself to say that you want to do what. Because I have come to the point to realize that it is this fear of blackmail that have made so many guys remain into adultery or immorality because they are afraid of what the next person will say. Now, Nigerians are doing a lot of kids on this issue of blackmail. I've watched a lot of them now. They're trying to do a lot of, to discourage blackmail. You watch some of them where they said, okay, the guy went and reported to the wife, I have done this, and the wife now team up with her husband and attack the other girl. We have seen it. That's what's happening because it is common. That's why you see people are coming up with kids. It is really common that some of these women, they went out for kids. But when they went out, the man took advantage of his own feeling and grabbed this particular these particular women. Because when there's a woman that you make love to her and you will never want to leave her because of some kind of things. And it's not that on air we cannot be making some kind of statements, because I just realized that children are also watching us and a lot of things, so we're trying to watch out what we say or what we say. But truly, you go to a particular man who is also desperate and the man needs care, and it's nice, because many of these people don't go to crazy people, they go to responsible men, because they say, I want to have a child with a man who is responsible. Now those responsible men, most of them can sleep with you only because they lack care at home or they lack care somewhere. So when you come, they see you like an answered prayer, but you were coming for a child. And that is what has brought a lot of problems in our marriages today. And I'm still saying these things, especially some of these are women who are having marine spirits, because some of them are really possessed. If you see them on the streets, they are out to capture men and to kill them. We know of women who go out and they intentionally want to ruin men of God. They want to ruin people. There are so many women like that. They go out, the intention, they are married, but they will out to give pastor food. They'll be out to serve pastor this and this and this. At the end of the day, you find yourself in the middle of their laps. What is the problem? They are agents. They are marines. And many of them are out there. Like when I see my two colleagues are saying here that there is no reason. No, when you say there's no reason, you're not correct. I think you should say that there are consequences. There are so many reasons why you should cheat or why you should go like that. But the consequences are so many than the reasons. And that is why I discourage people from getting into that. Because of what? The consequences of this infidelity or cheating is so high. When pregnancies are concerned, when abortions are concerned, when life is concerned, somebody is threatening you. He said, you no go leave me, now me, I go talk the way you go leave me. It is happening. So the woman vows and tell you that you no go leave me, now me, I go tell you the way you go leave me, or you go see him. I will come to your house. I will do this.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. That's what's happening today. And of course, our people are trapped. They are really trapped. So we are saying that some of these girls are agents. Some of them are marine spirits. They are married, but in their home, they have an agenda to ruin the life of that man at home, and also to get many other men ruined up. We are telling you today, there is a danger in all this. Even if you were sent, you will meet someone that will be the end of your destruction. Okay. We have seen men in hotels that you go and sleep with them and they put snake in your stomach. You've seen men that you go out and sleep with them, they drain your destiny or your star. Is it not happening every day? Some women are useless and empty like Mukanjo today because of that.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I'm enjoying the program. Lista Montana is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Lista. Extend our greetings to your mother out there in Yaoundé, and also to you, Kalis Choka in Yaoundé. Good. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to you all in the studio. Elvis Brown is watching from Shell New Bell in Douala here, and we say good evening to all of you watching us from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu. How can this case be handled where a man of God, married but wants to date every girl he sees? In fact, every house he enters to preach, he admires a girl and will even tell the girl not to let anybody know, and will lie that he isn't married. Please, men of God in the studio, can you say something about this? Okay, Rita is writing from Bomenda. Note has been taken. Somebody should say something about that. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm enjoying your program. God bless you all. Kaya Godwin is writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm happy with today's topic. My husband have been cheating on me with my own blood sister. Advise me on what to do. Very bad case. Good evening, Mr. Liu. What really determines you are married? Or what makes a woman your wife? Is it traditional wedding, bride price, or payment? Court wedding or church wedding? That is a topic we have discussed that already, but I think we should revisit it. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for having this topic. This issue has led to the breakage of many marriages because of the phobia to address ego and failure to control libido or hormones. The panel has given very good information to handle this issue, and I hope viewers will heed to the advice and also pass the information to their peers who didn't have the possibility of following the program. Cheating according to results from the initial motive of marriage. If there was no true love before the marriage, then once the thing that prompted the marriage no longer there, cheating cripples. Okay, cripples in and becomes the order of the day. Dr. John Asson, writing from Mafikeng, South Africa. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo and the panelists. Please help enlighten us on the stigma faced by children from a broken home in your subsequent program. Thank you. Morgan is writing from Bonaberry. If you people, if you can group yourselves from broken homes, 3 or 4 of you guys, if you're watching me and you're from a broken home, maybe you are described as a illegitimate child. If you guys can constitute yourself into 3, I will receive you here to also share your experience. Maybe from what you will share, it will help others out there know how to treat cases like that. Hello, Mr. Leo. What drives women outside is sex. Please, I will advise men to work on themselves. Create time with your wives, because I have had more than 3 married women asking me out just because they are being starved of sex. Please, men, work on yourself, okay? Wow. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I think it's important to date a man or a woman before marriage in order to know your man's ability on the bed, okay? That one is serious. Hi, Mr. Leo. Congratulations to the panelists. Married men and women should be faithful to each other. Kennedy is watching from Yaoundé. Good evening, sir. My name is Yvette. I adhere to the idea of the mind being a prime factor. Sexual satisfaction is relative and has to do with the mind. Also, I think a lot of premarital sex is also a big issue because the plethora of definition of sexual satisfaction, and when they get married, their past is their dictionary. Okay, you get what many persons are saying here, that you get married to somebody that you never actually knew the ability to satisfy you, and once you get into it, maybe you have had other experiences and you discover that, okay, you're missing something big, and if you are there for some years, you may be tempted to go get it out.
So finally, you'll just be testing and testing and testing.
The thing is that I think we're having a lot of wrong foundation when it comes to marriage.
Okay.
In our context, a lot. There are a lot of people out there who think they're married who are not really actually married. Like somebody's raising the point that how do you consider a man or a woman your wife or husband? So like it's when you have the contacts of counselors like this, like on the screen, it's important to make use of them. While it's still free, because if you don't do that very soon, you need to pay for some sessions and all the like. So honestly speaking, we are having a lot of these problems because the foundations were wrong. You see, most often the girls have been pushed to marry the men that they never wanted to marry by the families. You know, a lot. When you talk with most of those girls, you discover that she wanted to marry this person, but the mother said, "I will disown this and that." They pushed her, so she had to go there to succumb to pressure, or maybe obey your parents in the law, so that her days may be long, for fear that her days will be cut short on this earth. And then she goes there and she discovers that the days are very long compared to the other ones.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, I'm a married woman and I love my husband very much. I also love sex more than my husband does, and I don't want to ever cheat on my husband. But when he do sex with me without emotion, it kills me. I feel like cheating. I'm writing from Kribi. Having good sex with a passion is what I need, but he is not doing it with passion. I feel empty. It ties with what I asked earlier on.
Yes.
You did not take time to go to see the level, but men of God,
sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes not even that. Even when you're into courtship with somebody, even at the beginning of the marriage, it might be okay. Like Reverend was saying, there might be something wrong with a man's sexual life. It can be psychological. When you're married, you're just 2. By the time you have 2, 3, 4 children, responsibility as an other, like it weighs on the man. It weighs on the man, and it's very important for the wife to support the man in such periods. You married a man, and there were some moments that you used to have together, and the man was enticed, the man was at it, and suddenly the man drops. Find out what is happening. You can take the man out. You know, you can plan something. Even if you cannot do that, there are elders in the family. There are mothers in the family. There are mothers that you know that he respects. It must not be, even if it's not his biological, because the biological mother might be far, but around the community where you are, where you belong, There are mothers that you see that that man respects. Go to those mothers, explain to them. They'll probably have advice for you. Go to those fathers and explain. If they call him, they sit and talk like men. They might whisper to you what is actually going on, and you know how to handle that. So, like the case of the lady writing, there is a time that there's actually a time that in marriage, you see, before you get married, allocate space for disappointment, allocate space for problems, allocate space for surprises, negative and positive. You can never. There is this thing that I used to liken relationship to. You know when you tie a drying lane, right? After whatever you're using, after some time it weakens, and you need to do what? You need to remove them, and then you either shift or check what is going wrong. Maybe the support system is not okay. That is actually what you do when you are in a marriage. It can never be the same every day. So you need to find out concretely, and you are the right person to find out, because that man will talk to you. Whether there are so many ways of communicating. Maybe in bed he's not okay, trying to let you know that there is something really wrong, but you are only concentrating on the sex aspect. And the next thing I think about is what? I don't want to cheat. When you start saying that I don't want to cheat, it means that you really thought of cheating. So you need to find out what is wrong with that man's sexual life. If you really want it to be okay, you have to talk it out. Like Apostle was saying, I was saying that if you marry a man that you don't attain orgasm, you can teach the man. It's possible. But now you need to know the right time to teach him. You cannot sit like this in the parlor and you start telling the man that, why you no. Even it's during the out or whatever, you need to know what to tell the man and what to do. If you don't know it, learn from other people, ask.
Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. A man without a side chick is like a government without a opposition party. Let not be decorators in marriage. Allow democracy. Fred from Bonaberry, I'm enjoying your program. God bless you guys, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu and the other panelists on board. I think with this program, any number one cheater will watch and follow you guys immediately after the program if they have conscience. Definitely he or she must stop. Also, this is a base on mindset, be it the man or the woman, to cheat. By Abdul Raufu, writing from Boya. Stop calling, please. I'm not taking calls today. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all the panelists. Mr. Liu, when love reacts, many changes come in between the two lovers. Cheating comes when there is discomfort. Sex, stop calling, please. Sex is one of the most important aspects in a relationship or marriage. Women have three things in mind: the good she did to her man, the bad things the man has done to her, the bad things she is planning to do to the man. Men should discipline themselves over women. This is my advice. Man for grown, writing from Opa Muya in Boya subdivision. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in the studio. I'm really enjoying the program. This case of blackmailing people can really be solved by the government implementing a law for that. It will really stop those people behind all these blackmail cases, okay? Nancy, writing from Bafia, says, good evening to you all. What about a man that you suffered with him and everything is fine now? He keeps everything, okay? Yes. Good evening, Mr. Liu. We do get married without acknowledging God. Proverbs 3:5-6. So we got ourselves entangled with the wrong partners. Luis Ayuk, writing from Tico. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your programs. Gilbert, writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Always enjoy your social corner programs. So the truth is that cheating is choice, and though some reasons may attempt to justify it, it remains a selfish act. Please try to organize a program that gathers bachelors or spinsters so that they can explain some of the problems they encounter choosing a spouse. This may inform people who want to get married but are not getting partners on their possible weaknesses. It's writing from Chang. Okay, if you organize yourselves, I will also invite and receive you, share your experience out there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm enjoying your program. Abel is writing from Mutengene. Mr. Liu, good evening. I'm enjoying the program too. Thank you very much. Good evening to you in the studio. I think what makes a man more handsome is a woman, and what makes a woman beautiful is a man. What is some men are women's choice and vice versa. There's always this green light from both sides as a push factor. The libido an ego, a super ego. Okay, Clovis is writing from Colby, so your message is not too clear. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and all in the studio. I'm Primus from Bamenda, and I like the topic, Mr. Leo. According to the two topics, what I have to say is that it is because people do not have the fear of God, as Solomon in his wisdom said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 1:7 says, be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord and depart from evil. Proverbs 3:7. So, Mr. Leo, anyone doing any of this is evil and needs to repent because it's not in the will of God. Thank you. Thank you too. And we are out of time. I'll give 1 minute.
Answer that,
okay.
There was something I was trying to say. Like this particular issue of, say, a man of God was asking anything in skirt. It's a common phenomenon now for a lot of people. It's really happening now a lot out there. You know, some of them must have, gone through some other things, spiritual challenge, and some of them, maybe they slept with one person that transferred the wrong spirit in them, and they are going out up and there. But what I would say is that please keep on praying for them, because it's not easy to work with people, to work with thousands of people and hundreds of people. It's not easy. You carry a lot of spirits, you carry a lot of seduction all around you, and before you get here, you see yourself doing nonsense. But I would advise that if you find yourself in that situation, please ask for help. Ask for help. You may not want to talk to maybe bigger people. You can share with somebody that you don't even know and the person doesn't even know you. Share with that person. And let me also say that not everybody is a good counselor. Somebody can counsel you very good in marriage, but does not know the side of the sex on bed. Many people can counsel you. So there are people who are good in counseling because they can tell you that. Like some people don't believe that somebody can make love for 1 hour with a woman. Some people don't believe that, but it happens.
Okay, please, I'll just take some few concerns raised so that we give quick answers. But the best thing would be for me to share the numbers of the counselors so that they can talk with you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. What about a man that beats his wife all the time and all what he wants from you is sex? Kelly is writing from Bamenda. That's what I'm going through.
I think most often these kind of things are things. One of the things we don't have in our culture is this issue of going for therapy. Most often when you have such a situation, two of you should decide to discuss and go for therapy. Have a counselor talk to both of you. To just throw it, and you will scarcely have facts to give a relevant counsel to such a query.
Yeah, but should there be any reason for a man to be beating the wife all the time?
Mr. Leo, these things are very complicated.
Okay.
You may not know the man's own side of the story. Having issues from one side, because there are some men who don't know how to talk, they listen. We're not encouraging it, but I'm just saying that there is usually a cause and effect.
If there is beating and there is sex at the same time, it means that there's something that the woman wants to pass as message, and she's using the wrong method, like refusing the man to have sex with her. I'm talking as a woman. Sometimes women use that method, that the man comes back, you have a problem, instead of you diagnosing it or lay it down, you use sex as...
I'll come in here, please. Whether they refuse sex or whatever, there should be no reason where you are beating and beating and beating.
No reason.
Osinachi is buried today because of yes, we should there should be no reason to tolerate that, please. Good evening. I'm happy with the topic of today. Please, Mr. Lee, I want to hear what the counselors have to say concerning this issue of my husband cheating on me with my own blood sister, Sandra writing.
Now, these are the common things that most women are doing today. You know that your husband is gullible, and you bring your sisters to come and put in the house. What kind of sisters do you bring? Sisters who are wayward, sisters who don't have respect for marriage institutions. Those kind of girls, they are the ones that will open their legs today in the parlor. The man want to pass like this, the man want to pass like that, and they're the one that will be asking money from the man every day. Before you want to discover things have gone wrong, you impose people who come to your house, impose some disciplines on them, and don't begin to send people to go and be doing things for your husband all the time, even if it's your sister. They will carry, because some of these sisters are very dangerous than even out there we call side chicks.
So what should she do?
There's nothing she would do now than to send the sister away from the house. Maybe. And then tell the man, if you are not careful with me, I will take it to the family and it will go blood.
Yeah, but what if the sister is not living with them? Maybe the sister Maybe it's the man is even renting a house.
You threaten the man about your decision that you're going to take.
And she should take the case to the family, Mr. Leo. She should take the case to the family, because these sort of things cannot even be handled on a platform like this. In the family, it's better when they put the two of them, blood sisters, or know what the type of questions to ask.
Okay.
They are elders.
There are so many serious problems faced by persons there. Please just request their numbers after the program, and I will share their numbers with you, so that you can talk with them. For those who are in Bamenda, ask for Mr. Asanji's number. But when you consult them, know that you are going to pay a fee, because they will create time to talk with you. For those who are in the Southwest, you can ask for Apostle Lefo's number. And those who are in Douala, you can ask for Reverend Tato's number and Apostle Alfred Essingie. I will gladly share their numbers with you, so that we can fix our societies now. Once the family is not well, the community is broken. So, Apostle, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It was a wonderful time. I want to say that some of the things we say here, don't take it personal. We are out to teach the public. We're out to teach people.
Okay, thank you too for coming, Reverend.
Almost pleasure, Mr. Leo. We thank our listeners, the ones who wrote, and want to appeal to them that when our contacts are given for counsel, when we're sharing with them, they should have open minds, because some people want that when you're talking with them, you say what they want. There are some things we'll say which should not be pleasurable, but if you actually want a solution to what you want, please just listen, because we have no personal interest in the things we share with you.
Okay, we also want to thank you, Petula, for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, viewers. Please, like for the women, I always say that we have to apply a lot of wisdom. We have to apply a lot of wisdom when it comes to managing the home, because once it is not well with the husband, once it's not well with the children, we are the ones who are going to face the consequences. Men usually have maybe a way of starting, but what about you, the woman? Do you really want to lose everything? Sometimes get to the people that are experienced in order to sort this thing, because sometimes our mouths are so flippant. We talk to the wrong people, we get the wrong proposals, and we come and apply them. So even the things that people give you as advice, need to be wise to know which one to use in your home. Then, as human beings generally, we need to work on our mindsets. Let us not go down to the level of foul, say foul, the pick on. No. We are human beings, so we are bigger than that.
Okay, we are going to be ending with the child dedication or born house for our prime baby, the child of Miss Asanji Yvette, that took place in Bamenda in our absence, but we were there with her in spirit. This was a dedication in church, and later on there was a born house with where the in-laws and friends came in from Santa and other places. Okay, we are very glad for you, Miss Asanji. You have been blessing the world, and we are glad that God also blessed you with this fruit. They call the fruit of the womb now. So,
Amen. Amen.
Yes, that is the baby of Miss Asanji Yvette. We call the child the prime baby. Okay. Yes, that's Miss Asanji and the husband. The husband is just standing by. This Mr. Asanji is standing there. Okay. And that's the Miss Asanji standing there with the. Okay, so there was a blessings from church, and now the blessings also from the ancestors. So the child is protected all around. Okay, we want no, they represent. They come from the village now. So the child, our prime baby is protected all around. We want to thank you, Mr. Asanji, and especially Mr. Asanji, because you are permitting your wife to be a blessing to the world. We want to thank you all also who took time off to watch this edition of the program, and to you, Desmond and Eli, for producing the program. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Je